The silent invasion. The vastness of space had never felt so suffocating. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the helm of the UES Horizon, Earth's flagship, as it glided through the star-speckled void. Her dark eyes, usually alight with curiosity, now held a shadow of unease. It had been 50 years since humanity burst onto the galactic stage, and for the most part, it had been a golden age of exploration and discovery. But something was wrong. Elena could feel it in her bones. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from Outpost Sigma," her communications officer, Liam Chen, called out. "They're requesting immediate assistance." Elena's brow furrowed. Outpost Sigma was one of humanity's most distant colonies, a bustling hub of 50,000 souls on the edge of known space. "Put it through," she ordered. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the harried face of Governor Amelia Cortez. Her usually immaculate appearance was disheveled, eyes wild with fear. "Captain Reyes, thank God you're in range. We need evacuation immediately." Elena leaned forward, her heart racing. "Evacuation. Governor, what's happening?" "It's the Zarkali," Amelia said, her voice dropping to a whisper. They're not what we thought. The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving only static in its wake. Elena's mind raced. The Zarkali were one of the first alien races humanity had encountered upon joining the galactic community. Tall, ethereal beings with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of eons, they had been nothing but helpful, sharing advanced medical knowledge and helping humanity establish its first extrasolar colonies. "Liam, get them back online," Elena ordered, her voice steady despite the growing dread in her chest. "And contact Earth Central. We need tow." "Captain," her science officer, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, interrupted. "I'm detecting multiple ships entering the system. They're not in our database." Elena watched in horror as sleek, obsidian vessels seemed to materialize out of the darkness of space. They moved with an alien grace, defying known laws of physics as they accelerated towards Outpost Sigma. "Red alert," Elena shouted. "Shields up, weapons online. Liam, keep trying to reach the outpost. Yuki, analyze those ships. I want to know everything about them yesterday." The bridge erupted into a flurry of activity as her crew sprang into action. Elena gripped the arms of her chair, her mind racing through tactical possibilities. The Horizon was a formidable ship, the pride of Earth's fleet, but they were drastically outnumbered. "Captain," Yuki called out, her voice trembling. "I'm detecting energy signatures unlike anything we've ever seen. It's like a bending reality itself." Before Elena could respond, a blinding flash of light erupted from the planet's surface. When it faded, Outpost Sigma was gone. In its place was a swirling vortex of darkness, like a wound torn in the fabric of space-time. "My God," Elena whispered, 50,000 lives, snuffed out in an instant. The alien ships turned their attention to the horizon, their obsidian hulls seeming to drink in the light of the nearby star. Elena knew they were outmatched, but retreat wasn't an option. They needed to warn Earth, to alert the galactic community to this new threat. "Liam, send out a distress call on all frequencies," Elena ordered. "Encrypt it with our highest-level protocols. Dr. Tanaka, I need options. How do we fight an enemy that can do that?" She gestured to where Outpost Sigma had once been. As her crew scrambled to comply, Elena's mind drifted to the countless other human colonies scattered across the galaxy. How many more would fall before they could mount a defense? And what of their alien allies? Were they facing similar attacks, or was humanity being singled out? A chilling thought struck her. What if the Zarkali, their trusted friends and mentors, were somehow involved in this? Governor Cortez's last words echoed in her mind. "They're not what we thought." "Captain," Liam's voice cut through her thoughts. "I've made contact with a nearby Galactic Council outpost. They're reporting similar attacks across multiple sectors. It's not just us." Elena's blood ran cold. This wasn't an isolated incident. This was a full-scale invasion. "Helm, set a course for Earth," she commanded. "Maximum warp. We need to warn them." As the Horizon's engines roared to life, Elena gazed out at the stars. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, first contact, joining a galactic community. But in their eagerness to explore the cosmos, had they overlooked something crucial? Had they invited a wolf into their home, wearing the skin of a sheep? The ship lurched into warp, leaving behind the graveyard of Outpost Sigma. Elena knew that when they dropped out of warp, they would be facing a changed galaxy. The age of peaceful exploration was over. Now, humanity would have to prove its worth among the stars not through diplomacy or scientific achievement, but through the crucible of war. And as captain of Earth's flagship, Elena Reyes would be on the front lines. As the Horizon hurtled through space, carrying its dire warning, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The true test of humanity's strength, their resilience, their very right to exist among the stars, was about to begin. And somewhere out there, hidden behind masks of benevolence, the architects of this invasion waited. The Zarkali, if they were indeed responsible, had made a grave miscalculation. They had awoken a sleeping giant, a species that had honed its skills in warfare for millennia. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why they should be feared. The silent invasion had begun, but humanity's response would be anything but silent. Whispers of deception. The Sol system was in chaos. Captain Elena Reyes stood before the United Earth Council, her uniform still bearing the scorch marks from her narrow escape. The chamber, usually a bastion of calm deliberation, now thrummed with barely contained panic. "And you are certain the Zarkali are behind this?" Admiral Zao asked, his weathered face etched with disbelief. Elena nodded grimly. Governor Cortez's last words implicated them directly, and the timing of their diplomatic mission to Earth can't be a coincidence. A murmur rippled through the assembled leaders. The Zarkali delegation had arrived on Earth just days before the attacks began, supposedly to discuss further technological exchanges. Now they were being held under close supervision, their serene smiles never wavering despite the accusations. "We can't just accuse our oldest allies without proof," Councillor Adeyemi argued. "The diplomatic fallout could be catastrophic." "With all due respect, Councillor," Elena retorted, her patience wearing thin, "we're already in a catastrophe. Half our outer colonies have gone dark. We need to act now." As the debate raged on, a young woman slipped quietly into the chamber. Aria Chen, Earth's top xenopsychologist, moved to Elena's side. "Captain," she whispered, "I need to speak with you. Privately." Elena nodded, grateful for the interruption. "Council, I suggest we adjourn briefly. We all need time to process this information." As the chamber emptied, Aria led Elena to a secluded alcove. The young scientist's eyes darted nervously, as if afraid of being overheard. "Captain, I've been studying the Zarkali for years. There's something off about them. Always has been." Elena leaned in, intrigued. "What do you mean?" Aria took a deep breath. "Their telepathic abilities. We've always assumed they were just highly empathic, able to sense emotions. But I think it goes deeper. I think they can influence minds." A chill ran down Elena's spine. "Influence, you mean control?" Aria nodded. "Not fully, at least not with humans. Our brains are different, more chaotic, but they can plant suggestions, alter memories. I think that's why we trusted them so quickly, so completely." Elena's mind raced, pieces falling into place. The ease with which the Zarkali had integrated into human society, the rapid technological advancements that seemed to come out of nowhere. "Why are you telling me this now?" Aria's eyes welled with tears. "Because I think I've been compromised. I have gaps in my memory, Captain, and sometimes I hear whispers, telling me to trust them, to let them in." Elena placed a comforting hand on Aria's shoulder, even as her tactical mind began formulating plans. "We need proof, Aria. hard evidence that the Council can't ignore. A determined glint appeared in Aria's eyes. I have an idea, but it's dangerous. We need to get close to one of them to establish a deep telepathic link. If we can do that, we might be able to see their true intentions. And how do you propose we do that? Elena asked, already dreading the answer. Aria straightened her shoulders. Me, I'll do it. I've spent more time with them than anyone. If anyone can resist their influence long enough to get the information we need, it's me. Elena shook her head. Absolutely not. It's too risky. We can't. An explosion rocked the building, cutting off Elena's protest. Alarms blared as smoke began to fill the chamber. Attention all personnel, a calm voice announced over the intercom. This is not a drill. We are under attack. Repeat, we are under attack. Elena and Aria exchanged a look of horror. The Zarkali must have realized they were close to being exposed. We're out of time, Aria said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. Captain, you need to get to your ship. Rally what's left of the fleet. I'll stay here and try to get the information we need. Elena wanted to argue, to drag Aria to safety, but she knew the scientist was right. They needed answers, and they needed them now. Be careful, Elena said, gripping Aria's arm. And remember, no matter what they try to make you believe, trust your humanity. It's the one thing they can't take from us. Aria nodded, a sad smile on her face. Go, Captain. Save our people. I'll do what I can here. As Elena raced towards the spaceport, the sky above Earth lit up with the flashes of battle. The invasion had begun in earnest, and humanity was woefully unprepared. Aboard the horizon, Elena barked orders as her crew scrambled to battle stations. Status report. Multiple enemy ships entering the system, Captain Lion reported, his voice tense. They're coming out of FTL inside the atmosphere. That should be impossible. Elena gritted her teeth. Impossible or not, it was happening. Weapons free. Target any ship not broadcasting a friendly IFF, and someone get me a secure line to Admiral Zhao. As the horizon rose through the atmosphere, Elena caught glimpses of the battle raging below. Strange, shadow-like creatures poured from the obsidian ships, engaging in vicious ground combat with Earth's defenders, and above it all, the serene forms of the Zarkali floated, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Captain, Dr. Tanaka called out, her voice filled with awe and terror. I'm detecting massive energy fluctuations. It's like they're rewriting the laws of physics. Elena watched in horror as entire city blocks simply vanished, replaced by swirling vortexes of dark energy. The same fate that had befallen Outpost Sigma was now threatening Earth itself. All ships, this is Captain Reyes. Elena broadcast on all frequencies. Fall back to Rally Point Alpha. We need to regroup and... Her words were cut off as a massive energy pulse rocked the horizon. Sparks flew from consoles as systems overloaded. Hull breach on decks 3 through 7. Liam shouted over the alarms. We're venting atmosphere. Elena's mind raced. They were outgunned, outmaneuvered, and facing an enemy that seemed to bend reality to its will. But giving up wasn't an option. Somewhere down there, Aria was risking everything to uncover the truth, and all across Earth, billions of humans were fighting for their very existence. Reroute all power to shields and weapons, Elena ordered. Helm, set a course for the largest enemy vessel. If we're going down, we're taking them with us. As the horizon plunged back into the fray, Elena silently prayed that Aria would find the answers they so desperately needed. Because right now, facing an enemy that could rewrite reality itself, humanity needed more than just courage and firepower. They needed a miracle. The awakening storm. The world was burning. Aria Chen stumbled through the smoke-filled corridors of the United Earth Council building, her mind a battlefield of conflicting thoughts and alien whispers. The Zarkali's mental assault was relentless, but she clung to her humanity with desperate determination. Trust us, the voices whispered. We only want to help, to elevate your species." "Liars," Arya hissed through gritted teeth. She forced herself to focus on memories of her childhood, of her first kiss, of the day she graduated top of her class in psychology. Human memories, her memories. A figure emerged from the smoke, and Arya's heart leaped to her throat. It was Ambassador Zorax, the leader of the Zarkali delegation. His iridescent skin seemed to absorb the flames around them, and his eyes pulsed with an otherworldly light. "My dear Dr. Chen," he said, his voice as smooth and calming as ever. "Why do you resist? We offer transcendence, an end to conflict, to suffering." Arya backed away, her eyes darting for an escape route. "By turning us into slaves, puppets for your consciousness to inhabit." Zorax's serene smile never wavered. "Not slaves, partners. Your species has such potential, such unpredictability. We seek to harness that, to blend it with our own consciousness." "You're monsters," Arya spat. The ambassador's eyes flashed. "We are the culmination of 1 billion years of evolution. We have united thousands of species under our guidance, and yet your kind resists. It's fascinating, really. Your minds are so chaotic, so alive." As he spoke, Arya felt the alien presence in her mind intensify. Images flashed before her eyes, countless worlds, countless civilizations, all brought under the Zarkali's control. She saw the birth of their species, witnessed their evolution from corporeal beings to the energy entities they were now. And she saw their fear. Fear of extinction, fear of stagnation, fear of a universe that was slowly winding down to entropy. With a Herculean effort, Arya pushed back against the mental invasion. "You're not elevating anyone," she gasped. "You're consuming them, using them to stave off your own extinction." Zorax's smile faded, replaced by a look of cold calculation. "Perceptive, Dr. Chen. Yes, we seek new hosts, new minds to inhabit. Our own forms are limited, but through your species we could live again. Feel again." "Never," Arya growled, and in that moment of defiance, she felt something shift within her mind. The chaos of her thoughts, the very unpredictability that the Zarkali found so fascinating, became a weapon. She pushed back against Zorax's mental probe, forcing her way into his consciousness. Alien memories flooded her mind, ends of existence, countless conquests, the slow decay of a species that had long since abandoned its physical form. Zorax stumbled back, his serene facade cracking. "Impossible," he whispered. "You cannot. You are not capable of this." Arya advanced, her own eyes now glowing with a fierce, human light. "You underestimated us," she said, her voice resonating with newfound power. "Humanity isn't just another species for you to consume. We're your reckoning." With a thought, she severed Zorax's mental connection to his brethren. The ambassador fell to his knees, his form flickering like a faulty hologram. What have you done?" he gasped. Arya stood over him, her mind racing with the knowledge she had stolen. "I set you free," she said, "and now I'm going to do the same for the rest of your kind." As Zorax's form dissipated, Arya tapped into the vast telepathic network that connected the Zarkali. She sent out a mental pulse, a wake-up call to every human under their influence. Across the planet, across the galaxy, humans began to shake off the mental shackles of their would-be conquerors. In orbit above Earth, Captain Elena Reyes blinked in confusion as the alien whispers in her mind suddenly went silent. She watched in awe as the massive Zarkali vessels began to falter, their reality-bending weapons sputtering out. "Status report," she barked. Lerm's voice was filled with disbelief. "Captain, the enemy ships. They're powering down, and I'm getting reports from all over the system. The shadow creatures are just disappearing." Elena's tactical mind raced. "All ships, this is Captain Reyes. The enemy is vulnerable. Press the attack. Don't let them regroup." As the tide of battle turned, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental had occurred. Somehow, Against all odds, humanity had found a way to fight back against an enemy that could control minds and bend reality. Back on Earth, Aria stumbled out of the ruined council building, her mind reeling from the vast knowledge she had absorbed. She knew the war was far from over. The Zarkali were ancient, powerful, and not easily defeated. But for the first time since the invasion began, there was hope. As emergency responders swarmed around her, Aria looked up at the sky. The once invisible battle was now clear to see, flashes of weapons fire illuminating Earth's orbit. She thought of Captain Reyes, of all the humans fighting to defend their home. "We are not your pawns," she whispered to the stars. "We are not your salvation. We are humanity, and we will forge our own destiny." In that moment, as the awakening storm of human resistance spread across the galaxy, the Zarkali learned a harsh lesson. They had sought to harness the chaotic potential of humanity to use it for their own ends. Instead, they had unleashed a force beyond their control, a species whose minds were too varied, too unpredictable to be fully subjugated, a people who, when pushed to the brink, would fight with a ferocity that defied comprehension. The silent invasion had failed. Now, the true battle for the future of both species would begin. And humanity, with all its flaws and all its strengths, was ready to show the galaxy why they were a force to be reckoned with. Forging the counterattack, the war room of the UES Horizon hummed with a nervous energy. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the head of the holographic display, her eyes scanning the faces of her assembled team. Some were present physically, others joining via secure quantum channels from across the galaxy. "Ladies and gentlemen," Elena began, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, "we've bought ourselves some time, but the Zarkali are far from defeated. Dr. Chen, please brief us on what you've learned." Aria stepped forward, looking haggard but determined. The knowledge she had absorbed from the Zarkali consciousness had taken its toll, but it had also given humanity an unprecedented advantage. "The Zarkali are ancient," Aria explained, her hands manipulating the holographic display to show a timeline spanning millions of years. "They evolved beyond physical form eons ago, becoming beings of pure energy and thought. But that evolution came at a cost. They lost their ability to adapt, to change." The display shifted, showing the familiar iridescent form of a Zarkali. "What we've been seeing are merely projections, vessels they create to interact with physical beings. Their true forms exist in a state of quantum superposition, spread across vast networks of dark energy." Admiral Zeo, joining via hologram from the remnants of Earth's defense fleet, leaned forward. "And how does this help us fight them, Doctor?" Aria's eyes gleamed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "Their greatest strength is also their greatest weakness. They can manipulate reality, yes, but they're bound by rigid patterns of thought. They literally cannot comprehend chaos or true randomness. That's why they can't fully control human minds. We're too unpredictable." Elena nodded, the pieces falling into place. "So we weaponize our unpredictability." "Exactly," Aria confirmed. "I've been working with Dr. Tanaka to develop a device we're calling the entropy engine. It generates fields of pure quantum randomness, disrupting the Zarkali's ability to maintain their form or exert their reality warping abilities." Dr. Tanaka stepped up, her usual reserved demeanor replaced by barely contained excitement. "We've successfully miniaturized the technology. It can be fitted to ships, handheld weapons, even personal shielding devices." A murmur of hope rippled through the assembled leaders. For the first time since the invasion began, they had a tangible advantage. Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Excellent work, both of you. Now we need to discuss distribution and tactical implementation. Admiral Zeo, what's the status of our fleet?" The Admiral's hologram flickered slightly as he brought up a tactical display. "We've managed to regroup and establish a defensive perimeter around Earth and our core colonies. The Zarkali's retreat has given us time to rearm and repair. But Captain was still outnumbered and outgunned in terms of raw firepower." Numbers and firepower aren't everything, Elena countered. Especially not against an enemy that's never faced real resistance before. We need to be unpredictable, hit them where they least expect it. As the tactical discussion continued, Aria found her mind wandering. The vast knowledge she had absorbed from the Zarkali consciousness was a constant presence, a swirling maelstrom of alien memories and concepts. But mixed with that cosmic awareness was something the Zarkali had never truly understood: human emotion. She thought of her family, her friends, all the people fighting and dying across the galaxy. The Zarkali saw them as resources, as vessels to be used and discarded. They couldn't comprehend the depth of human connection, the fierce love and loyalty that bound people together. That, Aria realized, was humanity's true strength, not just their unpredictability, but their capacity for empathy, for sacrifice, for hope in the face of overwhelming odds. Dr. Chen, Elena's voice snapped Aria back to the present. You look like you have something to add. Aria took a deep breath. Captain, I think we're thinking too small. The entropy engine is a good start, but it's a defensive measure. We need to take the fight to them, to show them that humanity isn't just another species to be conquered. She manipulated the holographic display, bringing up an image of the Zarkali's vast dark energy networks. Their consciousness, their very essence, is spread across these networks. If we can disrupt them, inject our own chaotic energy into their ordered systems, we could shatter their unity. Elena finished, her eyes widening with realization. Force them to experience individuality, unpredictability. Humanity, Aria said simply. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. What they were proposing wasn't just a military victory, but a fundamental change to an entire species' way of existence. Admiral Zhao broke the silence, his voice gruff but tinged with respect. It's ambitious, Dr. Chen. Maybe even crazy. But then again, crazy is what we do best. Elena nodded, her decision made. All right, people. We have our strategy. Dr. Tanaka, I want you working with our top engineers to scale up the entropy engine. We need a delivery system capable of affecting entire sectors of space. Aria, she continued, you'll work with our xenobiologists and psychologists. If we're going to fundamentally alter the Zarkali consciousness, we need to understand the implications, both for them and for us. As the meeting adjourned and the various leaders departed to carry out their tasks, Elena held Aria back. Are you sure about this? She asked quietly. What you're proposing, it's not just warfare, it's playing God. Aria met Elena's gaze, her eyes filled with a mixture of determination and sorrow. They didn't give us a choice, Captain. They came to our home, tried to strip away everything that makes us human. We're not just fighting for our survival now, we're fighting for our right to exist as we are. Elena nodded slowly. I understand. But promise me something, Aria. No matter what happens, no matter how this war ends, we don't lose sight of our humanity. It's what separates us from them, and it's what's going to win us this war. As Aria left to begin her work, Elena turned to the viewport, gazing out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Zarkali were regrouping, planning their next move. But for the first time since this war began, Elena felt a glimmer of true hope. Humanity had always been at its best when faced with impossible odds. They had survived ice ages, plagues, and their own destructive tendencies. They had reached for the stars not because it was easy, but because it was hard. Now they faced their greatest challenge yet, a war not just for territory or resources, but for the very nature of consciousness itself. As the Horizon prepared to lead the counterattack, Elena allowed herself a grim smile. The Zarkali had no idea what they had awakened. The storm was coming, and humanity would be the thunder, the heart of darkness. The void between galaxies was a darkness so profound it seemed alive. The UES horizon hung suspended in this cosmic abyss, a tiny spark of life and light in an ocean of nothingness. Captain Elena Reyes stood at the helm, her face illuminated by the soft glow of holographic displays. Beside her, Area Chen fidgeted nervously, her eyes darting between the view screen and the pulsing orb of the scaled-up entropy engine at the center of the bridge. "Are you sure about these coordinates?" Elena asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The oppressive darkness outside seemed to demand silence. Arya nodded, her face pale. "As sure as I can be. The knowledge I had sought, it's not always clear, but this is where they began. The birthplace of the Zarkali." Elena took a deep breath, steeling herself. This mission was perhaps the most audacious in human history. A strike at the very heart of their enemy, billions of light years from home. "All stations report in," she commanded. One by one, her crew confirmed their readiness. Dr. Tanaka at the science station, monitoring the entropy engine. Liam at communications, maintaining their tenuous quantum link to Earth. And a dozen others, each the best in their field, each volunteering for what might well be a suicide mission. "Take us in," Elena ordered, full stealth mode. The Horizon glided forward, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it nearly invisible. As they approached their target, a collective gasp rippled through the bridge. Before them hung a massive structure, a latticework of dark energy stretching across millions of kilometers. It pulsed with an otherworldly light, and as they watched, streams of data and consciousness flowed through its intricate pathways. "My God," Dr. Tanaka breathed. It's like a living computer, a brain the size of a solar system." Arya's eyes were wide, her mind reeling as she processed the sight before her. "This is where it all began," she said softly. "Billions of years ago, the first Zarkali uploaded their consciousness into this network. They thought they were achieving immortality, transcending their physical forms." Elena frowned. "But something went wrong." Arya nodded. They lost something in the transition, the ability to truly change, to grow. They became static, eternal, but stagnant. That's why they need us, need other species. They're desperate for new experiences, new patterns of thought. As they watched, parts of the massive structure seemed to shift and change, forming into recognizable shapes. A planet here, a star there, entire galaxies in miniature. They're simulating reality, Dr. Tanaka realized, creating virtual worlds to inhabit. "More like prisons," Arya corrected, endless loops of experience, played out over and over. They're trapped in their own perfection. Elena's tactical mind was already racing, analyzing weak points, considering attack vectors, but a part of her hesitated. What they were seeing was beautiful, in its own alien way. The culmination of billions of years of evolution and technological advancement. "If we go through with this," she said slowly, "if we use the entropy engine here, we'll be destroying their entire civilization, everything they've built over aeons of existence." Arya's face was a mask of conflicting emotions. "I know, but if we don't, they'll keep consuming other species, strip mining the universe of consciousness to fuel their own eternal existence." The weight of the decision hung heavy in the air. This wasn't just about winning a war anymore. It was about the very nature of existence, the right of a species to choose its own path. "There has to be another way," Elena said, almost to herself. "A way to coexist too." Her words were cut off as alarms blared across the bridge. On the view screen, parts of the massive Zarkali structure began to shift, tendrils of dark energy reaching out towards the horizon. "They've detected us," Liam shouted. "Cloaking field is destabilizing." Elena's hesitation vanished, years of training kicking in. Evasive maneuvers. Dr. Tanaka prepped the entropy engine for full discharge. As the horizon dove and weaved through the grasping tendrils of dark energy, Arya closed her eyes, reaching out with her mind. The alien knowledge she had absorbed surged forward, and for a moment she felt herself connected to the vast Zarkali consciousness. She saw their history unfold, felt their fear of death, their desperate quest for immortality. And she felt something else, buried deep within their collective mind, a longing. a desire for change, for growth, held back by eons of static existence. "Wait," she cried out, her eyes snapping open. "Captain, we can't destroy them. We need to wake them up." Elena spared her a glance, her hands flying over the tactical controls. "What are you talking about? We're kind of busy here, Doctor." Arya rushed to Dr. Tanaka's side, her fingers dancing across the entropy engine's control panel. "We need to modulate the output. Not to destroy, but to introduce complexity, chaos, life." Dr. Tanaka's eyes widened as she grasped Arya's intent. It could work. We'd be giving them what they've been seeking all along: true change, true growth. Elena gritted her teeth as another tendril of dark energy narrowly missed the ship. "Do it. Whatever you're going to do it now." Arya took a deep breath, placing her hands on the pulsing orb of the entropy engine. She thought of Earth, of the richness and variety of human experience, of love and loss, joy and sorrow, the entire spectrum of emotion and thought that made up a single human life. And she pushed it all into the heart of the Zarkali consciousness. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The massive structure before them erupted in a dazzling display of light and energy. Waves of chaos rippled through its intricate pathways, introducing randomness, unpredictability, possibility. On the bridge of the horizon, the crew watched in awe as the Zarkali homeworld transformed before their eyes. The rigid patterns broke apart, reforming into new, ever-shifting configurations. "What's happening?" Elena breathed, momentarily forgetting the danger they were in. Arya's eyes were filled with wonder and tears. They're waking up, really waking up, for the first time in billions of years. They're becoming individuals again. As they watched, the tendrils of dark energy that had been attacking the horizon withdrew. The massive structure pulsed with new life, new awareness. And then a voice, not heard but felt, resonating through the very fabric of space-time. "We remember," it said, a chorus of billions speaking as one, yet each voice distinct. "We were sleeping, dreaming. You have awakened us." Elena stepped forward, her voice steady despite the enormity of the moment. "We are humanity. We came seeking peace, but prepared for war. Will you cease your attacks on our worlds?" There was a pause, a sense of vast minds considering, debating. Then, "Yes, we see now the error of our ways, the beauty of change, of growth. You have given us a gift beyond measure." Relief washed over the bridge, but Arya's face remained serious. "And the other species you've absorbed, the worlds you've conquered." Another pause, longer this time. "We will release them. It will take time, but we will undo what we have done. We have much to atone for." As the implications of what they had achieved sank in, Elena turned to Arya, a mixture of awe and pride on her face. "You did it. You found a third option. Not destruction, not submission, but evolution." Arya smiled, exhaustion and elation warring on her face. "We did it. All of us. We showed them what humanity truly is, not just our unpredictability, but our capacity for empathy, for seeing another path." As the horizon prepared to make the long journey home, carrying news of an end to the war and the birth of a new era of galactic cooperation, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder. They had come to the heart of darkness, prepared to do whatever was necessary to save their species. Instead, they had brought light, awakening a sleeping giant and forging an unlikely alliance. The Zarkali had sought to harness humanity's unique traits. In the end, it was those very traits, compassion, creativity, the ability to see beyond binary choices, that had saved both species. As they left the intergalactic void, heading back towards the familiar stars of the Milky Way, Elena realized that this wasn't just a victory for humanity. It was a victory for life itself, in all its chaotic, beautiful complexity. The heart of darkness had been transformed, and in its place, a new light was dawning. Echoes of humanity, the grand chamber of the galactic concord, buzzed with an energy unlike anything seen in millennia. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the tiered seats, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. But today, all eyes were on the small delegation standing at the center of the floor. Captain Elena Reyes stood tall, her uniform crisp and adorned with the newly minted insignia of the United Earth Fleet. Beside her, Aria Chen fidgeted slightly, still uncomfortable with the attention her role in recent events had brought her. Dr. Tanaka completed the trio, her usually reserved demeanor replaced by barely contained excitement at the scientific prospects before them. At the podium, High Counselor Genva of the Altari Republic, one of the oldest spacefaring races, called for silence. His crystalline form shimmered as he spoke, his voice resonating through the chamber. Esteemed colleagues, we are gathered here today to witness a moment unprecedented in our long history. The representatives of humanity stand before us, not as conquerors or victims, but as the architects of a new era of galactic peace. A murmur rippled through the assembly. Elena could feel the weight of countless alien gazes upon them, a mixture of awe, curiosity, and lingering fear. Zenva continued, "For eons we lived under the shadow of the Zarkali, never knowing the true nature of the threat that lurked between the stars. Many of us fell to their influence, our civilizations absorbed, our individuality lost. And yet, when faced with this same threat, humanity did not merely survive, they found a way to awaken the Zarkali from their long, stagnant dream." As the High Counselor spoke, holographic displays came to life around the chamber, showing images of the transformed Zarkali homeworld. The rigid structures of dark energy had given way to swirling, ever-changing patterns of light and color. It was beautiful, in an alien way, a cosmic dance of consciousness and possibility. "Captain Reyes," Genva said, turning to Elena, "you and your crew ventured into the depths of the unknown, faced an enemy that had consumed entire galaxies, and emerged victorious not through force of arms, but through the very traits that make your species unique. Please, share with us your perspective on these events." Elena took a deep breath, stepping forward. She had faced down alien armadas and stared into the heart of an eldritch machine intelligence. And yet, somehow, this moment felt more daunting. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Concord," she began, her voice steady, "what we achieved was not a victory for humanity alone. It was a victory for life itself, in all its chaotic, beautiful complexity." She gestured to the holographic displays. The Zarkali sought perfection, and in doing so, lost touch with the very essence of existence, change, growth, the ability to evolve. They saw our unpredictability as a resource to be harvested. Instead, we showed them that it was a gift to be shared. Aria stepped forward then, her eyes alight with the vast knowledge she now carried. In awakening the Zarkali, we've not only ended a threat to our existence, but we've gained access to eons of scientific and philosophical knowledge. The Zarkali are eager to share their insights, to engage in true exchange of ideas for the first time in billions of years. Dr. Tanaka nodded enthusiastically. The scientific implications are staggering. Their understanding of dark energy alone could revolutionize our approach to space travel, energy production, even the nature of reality itself. A reptilian representative from the Slick Confederation raised a clawed hand. "And what assurances do we have that the Zarkali will not revert to their old ways? That this is not some elaborate deception?" Elena understood the fear behind the question. The Zarkali are changed fundamentally and irrevocably. In introducing chaos and individuality to their collective consciousness, we've given them something they've lacked for eons, the ability to grow, to disagree, to forge their own paths. She paused, choosing her next words carefully. "But more than that, we've shown them the power of connection. Not the sterile, static connection of a hive mind, but the dynamic, ever-changing bonds of individual beings choosing to work together." Aria stepped forward again, her voice soft but carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "In the moment of awakening, I felt the entirety of the Zarkali consciousness. their joy at rediscovering individuality, their sorrow at the harm they had caused, their hope for a new beginning. It was overwhelming, beautiful, and utterly genuine. High Counselor Genvar nodded slowly. And yet, the question remains, what is humanity's place in this new galactic order? You have demonstrated power beyond anything we've seen, a capacity to change the very nature of an elder race. Many among us are concerned. Elena couldn't help but smile at the irony. They had saved the galaxy, and now the galaxy feared them for it. But she understood. Fear of the unknown, of change, it was a universal constant. We are explorers, she said simply. Scientists, diplomats, dreamers. We seek not to conquer or control, but to understand, to connect, to grow. The power we've demonstrated is not a weapon to be wielded, but a responsibility to be shouldered. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, or eye equivalents, of as many representatives as she could. We stand ready to join this galactic concord as equals, to share our knowledge, our perspective, our chaotic creativity. And in return, we ask for the chance to learn, to be challenged, to evolve alongside you all. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices, some supportive, others skeptical. But as the debate raged on, Elena felt a sense of pride and hope wash over her. This vibrant exchange of ideas, this clash of perspectives, this was what they had fought for. As the sessions stretched on, decisions were made, agreements forged. Humanity would join the galactic concord, but with certain provisions. Their unique abilities would be studied, shared, integrated into the galactic community. And in return, the wealth of knowledge and culture from 1,000 worlds would be open to them. Hours later, as Elena and her team prepared to return to the horizon, Aria pulled her aside. "Captain," she said, her eyes shining with unshed tears, "do you think we did the right thing? Changing the Zarkali so fundamentally, playing God on a cosmic scale." Elena placed a comforting hand on Aria's shoulder. "We gave them a choice, Aria. For the first time in billions of years, we gave them the freedom to choose their own path. What they do with that choice is up to them." She gazed out at the star-filled sky visible through the station's massive viewport. "That's the true power of humanity, I think. Not our unpredictability or our adaptability, but our capacity to see possibilities where others see only binary choices. To find a third option, a fourth, a 100th. Aria nodded slowly. "So what now? Where do we go from here?" Elena's eyes sparkled with the same sense of wonder that had first driven humanity to the stars. Now we explore, we learn, we grow. The galaxy's opened up to us in ways we never imagined, and I for one can't wait to see what's out there. As they boarded the shuttle back to the horizon, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. Once again, humanity stood on the brink of a new frontier, facing the unknown with a mixture of trepidation and excitement. But this time, they didn't face it alone. The echoes of humanity's choice, of their compassion and creativity, would ripple across the cosmos for eons to come. They had reshaped the destiny of an elder race and, in doing so, forged a new path for themselves and every sentient species in the galaxy. The terrifying power of humanity, it turned out, wasn't in their capacity for destruction or their stubborn resilience. It was in their ability to imagine a better future and their determination to make that future a reality, no matter the odds. As the Horizon prepared to embark on its next mission of exploration and diplomacy, Elena looked at her crew, human and alien alike, and smiled. The greatest adventure, she realized, was just beginning. The silent invasion had failed, the awakening storm had passed, and in its wake, a new symphony of life and consciousness was just beginning to play. Humanity had found its place among the stars, and the universe would never be the same.